What's up, growers? Welcome to episode 7, Chalk Talk. We're going to be diving into vegetation stage. We walked you through the beginning stages, getting your tent, the environment, water practices, getting the seeds you need, getting them in the soil, getting our perfect moisture to make sure that our seedlings are off to a great start, focusing on that VPD to keeping the stomatas open, allow water and air to move freely. So now that you're in veg, I like to look at this as prep for flower. So when you're prepping for flower, you want to keep the plant healthy and you want to keep that canopy even. That is the main thing that I worry about, is keeping the canopy even, doing some sort of training method to be able to maximize your lighting when you get into flower, so you don't have one growing taller than the other and you have to dial back your light to be able to not burn this one but keep this one happy at a lower that's lower than the other. So there's many types of training methods. When you get into vegetation, they can start taking it more. You had that explosion of growth. So now we're going to start training to keep that canopy even. So there's scrogging. That's the screen of green. That's when you're putting a net down. You're taking fewer plants and you're bending and weaving them through different types of squares, 2.5 inch, 3 inch, 3.5. It's going to be up to you what you want to do. And then there's the sea of green, the SOG method, which is a bunch of smaller plants and just top heads. Just growing straight up. You're not doing a bunch of defoliating. You're not cleaning up a bunch. You just want to let more plants. The same idea as a scrog. You're getting a bunch of top heads, top collars is what you're after. There's low stress training, LST, which you're just bending. Nothing that's going to bring high stress on the plant. There's many forms of low stress training. I think screen of green and the SOG method are low stress training methods because you're not pushing this plant, you're not breaking the cells, you're not doing anything that's going to harm it, you're not topping it. So then you get starting to get to the high stress training like the super crop and the topping. I don't top. The only reason I would top a plant is if something's just drastically grown higher than the other. You're running two different cultivars and you need this one to catch up. We're going to go ahead and top this top one to stop its growth, to allow this one to grow up. And this one's in turn, the higher one's going to start doing lateral branching and growing off other sides to maybe catch that other one up. But I just feel like you can bend the top cola down and get those other two new heads to pop up is what you're trying to achieve, and create that lateral branching by topping. I don't think topping is necessarily, it's something that you have to do in your garden. I don't recommend it. I just think it's stress that you don't need to do unless, your back's against the wall. Super cropping, I'm a big super cropper. That's when you're grabbing that cell, that stem, and you're pinching and rolling it and you're bending it down. That's going to bend it down. Let me grab a piece of chalk here. So if you have something growing straight up, that's my plant. It's not very good. If we take this and we bend it down, these sites are gonna pop up, and you're gonna have an even canopy, and you're working off this same stem. So keep that in mind when you're doing your training methods. There's not a lot to veg, like I said. That's pretty much just keeping that canopy even, keeping your plants healthy and happy. Good watering practice. They're not going to drink as much in flower, but they're going to drink more in seedling. I like to follow that 5 to 10% rule of soil by volume. So I have a 70-gallon bed of soil. So I roughly water in 3.5 gallons, which is 5%, or that 10%, which would be about 7 gallons, give or take. So calculate how much soil you got, find out that 5 to 10% rule, and just give it that every other day. If you need to, if you're in smaller pots, you may have to do that every single day. The bigger the pots, the less you got to water, the less work. That's why I love big pots. I'm busy on the road for work, family stuff, so I don't want to be in here watering every day. That's why I preach bigger bodies of soil, that bigger battery, more soil life, more biology, more health. It's just going to be easier for a gardener that's not able to get inside and water every day and train every day. So that's why I like this screen of green, because I'm just bending and weaving. I can come back down next few days, bend and weave some more, and keeping that canopy even, because they're not going to just pop up 6 inches overnight. I mean, very rarely is that going to happen. So you have some time. You don't have to worry about, I just trained and bend this down, I can't get home for another 2 days. Don't stress about it. In those next 2 days, you may have seen an inch or two, maybe 3 inches of growth. You can bend and weave that down. If it gets too tall, that's when we start super cropping, because we can't weave it. And that's the only reason I super crop, is you're past your net with your screen of green and you're trying to keep that even canopy, so you have to do some super cropping. So the VPD, the vapor pressure deficit, is that calculation of your RH and your temperature, trying to give that plant its best chance of success, which they recommend a 0.8 to 1.0 VPD. Like I said, check out that Pulse VPD chart. They got a lot of really good information. It's a very reputable chart. And what we're gonna do here with that VPD is, okay, so you got 70 degrees Fahrenheit and to 85 degrees Fahrenheit. It's pretty comfortable. 70 is a little low, 85 is a little high, but I just want to let you know that it can work. It all just matters on your VPD, and the way you get these numbers is find out what you can get. If you can get 77 degrees Fahrenheit, find that RH on that VPD chart that's gonna make it that 0.8 to 1.0. So I think 77 is roughly like 65%. I'm not too certain on this. I just rock a steady, 75 degrees, and I like to keep the 65 to 70% humidity in veg. You still want that moisture in there. You're not worried about mold concerns at this point. When you get in the flower, that's when you're gonna drop that RH or raise the temperature to get that bigger difference in the VPD. Like I said, there's really not a lot when it comes to vegetation. If you can keep your plants healthy, keep that canopy even. I know I keep saying that, but that's very crucial to me and maximizing my yields. If you have an even canopy, you're using all of your lights, you're using all of that PAR, PPFD in your grow light, maximizing power. You're using everything to help you get bigger yields without doing more. You don't have to crank your lights up as high because your canopy's even. You don't have to do as much training and super cropping and stress when you're in flower because your canopy's already even. So do all this stuff in vegetation, good practices to get yourself into flower to where when you get past that stretch phase in flower, you're just coasting. You're just watering. If you're in smaller pots, you're doing a little bit of small feeding, but you don't have to necessarily do any training, but other than some defoliation and maybe let that girl breathe a little bit more. So that's it, Gromies. Vegetation stage easy. I'm excited you guys have been running with me. We're going to go ahead and jump into flower next video, talk about practices, keeping, a healthy environment, what we're looking for as far as, trichomes and all that stuff. So stay tuned, Gromies. Much love, and I thank you for following along.